Hi, my name is Andrus Morissette, and I'm inviting you to my brand new webinar, How I Lost 45 Pounds in Less than 5 months by Getting the Emotional Edge. Now, this isn't the first time I've lost 45 pounds or more. 20 years ago, I self-published my first book, Simply Woman, the 12-week body, mind, soul total transformation program. And a year later, it was picked up by Hay House Publishing. It became an international bestseller, documenting my weight loss journey after weighing over 200 pounds during my two pregnancies back to back in the mid 90s. I offered a step-by-step prescriptive guide to help other women lose weight and feel great. In 2006, Chapters Kohl's Indigo polled 40,000 readers on which book most influenced their life. And Simply Woman came in at number 14, ahead of many of my mentors, including my publisher, Louise Hay, and her incredible book, You Can Heal Your Life. I was in shock. I'd write 3 more books with major international publishing houses, and I published an anthology book with 30 stories written by hand-selected women who'd risen against the odds. Women living in places such as Liberia, Palestine, and South Africa. Women who'd been kidnapped, abused, betrayed, molested. Women living through bloodshed and genocide in a civil war. One who witnessed the murder of her aunt by her uncle. And another woman who is dealing with a chronic disease since childhood and needs a blood transfusion every 3 weeks to this day just to live. I was passionate about women's stories, rights, and gender equality. I'd win awards and appear on American and Canadian shopping channels. I was the spokesperson for Louise Hay's line of health supplements, and I was featured on hundreds of national and international media outlets. I'd give talks or share the stage with super famous authors, celebrities, and speakers. I'd star as the life coach and nutritionist on a hit TV docuseries, which was in over 15 countries and won many industry awards. And I opened an international empowerment coach certification in 2009 exclusively for women, which is now in 45 countries. I created the concept of emotional age and the empowerment spectrum, and you can currently find my emotional age quiz on Oprah.com. Now, the most baffling part might be why, after keeping the weight off for 16, 17 years, I would weigh over 200 pounds again. A lot has happened in my life, not only in the last 20 years since the release of Simply Woman, but since childhood. Stories that I never wanted to share or revisit, yet I couldn't have written any of my books with any level of transparency without feeling these stories, dealing with these stories, and somehow trying to heal them. Many of these stories owned, shamed, and held me captive. And although it's hard to admit, even after losing that weight and feeling great, and I did, landing book deals and working on TV, I still had many more layers of pain to work through, and I was still afraid to shine full on and to be heard full out. The extra weight was nothing more than protection from a world I didn't quite feel ready for, a world I didn't feel safe in. I think many women are afraid to be fully seen. We're comfortable with parts of ourselves, but not with all of ourselves, not with all our parts. But as we all know now, hashtag time's up. We women are ready to be seen as complete, multidimensional human beings. We all know it. We women walk this earth in complex heels, which means often we feel out of balance, exhausted, and hurt. Why is it so hard for us to put our needs first? Why don't we take better care of ourselves? Why can't we tell ourselves the truth? Why do we feel so guilty? Why won't we let ourselves be happy? I was so fed up with the idea that a good woman is slim, soft-spoken, and easygoing. She's lovely. Because I was angry, simmering rage actually under the surface, and I was ready to blow the lid off my oppression, to tell my stories of sexual abuse, outrageous neglect, internalized misogyny from the women who should have loved me most, and heartbreaking betrayals. By the time COVID hit in 2020, and I was turning 50, I was done worrying about my weight, BMI, or my waist circumference. The world was falling apart, and we had a real war in our hands, a war against women. At least that's what it felt like to me. Christine A. Smith, she's a PhD and associate professor of psychology, human development, and Women's and Gender Studies at the University of Wisconsin. She writes, recognizing the impact of socio-cultural standards of weight and body image is important in efforts to empower women. Furthermore, discussions of eating disorders and body image are incomplete without recognizing why the standards exist and why such pressures are put upon women. The specific messages about weight that women receive around weight and body image are symptoms of a larger patriarchal disease, one that seeks to keep women weak. Until the messages are recognized for what they are, attempts to suppress women, women will continue to hate their bodies, therefore themselves. This is a powerful and dangerous message, especially when so many women are striving for power but hating themselves. How these messages affect our self-esteem, our body image, and our attitude towards ourselves cannot be addressed fully by feminists or psychologists. I was so angry and fed up. At one point, I threw my scale away in an attempt to discard the messages I'd heard my whole life, particularly the one that told me I was worth my weight. I was ready to take up space. Fuck skinny, I thought. Fuck dieting. I'm so over it. I'm done trying to shrink myself to fit into places I've outgrown. I will do what I want, eat what I want, drink what I want, when I want. I will sleep when I want, wake when I want, and no one will tell me what to do. My inner rebellious teenager was cheering. During one interview, I proudly said, "You know what I say to the patriarchy? You can't make me small enough for you to feel big enough." The host loved that comment. We giggled at my empowerment. A few listeners told me they cheered afterward. And the best part was that being chubby was easier, even a little fun. And it seemed to be working better for a while. The body positivity movement was gaining ground, and Lizzo was telling us it was about damn time. And even though I preached that being a good mother, wife, and woman means taking care of yourself first, I convinced myself that gaining weight didn't bother me at all. I loved myself, no matter my size. And I did. I did love myself. And I applaud every other size woman who loves herself, until I realized that loving myself and taking care of myself, protecting myself, nurturing myself, listening to myself, feeding myself healthy food, moving my body, believing in myself, keeping myself and my dreams safe to explore, having fun and real pleasure, and standing up for myself and speaking my truth were all part of the same thing. But after being told to stand down too many times and then standing down, I'd lost my confidence. And not because of the weight, but because of the stories I was telling myself about myself. The hurtful, inaccurate, and false stories I believed. I thought I had to grow thicker skin just to survive. Interestingly, as I've released over 40 pounds during these last 5 months, I've been confronted with a lot of emotions and feelings of vulnerability. It was very palpable. I could feel it. But like I've written in many of my past books, you have to feel if you want to heal. And boy, I was feeling all the feels. I've been feeling all the feels again. But looking back, here's what's interesting. No matter my size, it seemed I was always too much. I've always been too much. Too friendly, too ambitious, too happy, too talkative, too confident, too opinionated, too intimidating, too independent, too bold, too loud, too proud, too bright, too light, too flirtatious, too sensitive, too tall, too sexy, too muscular, too strong, too emotional, too something, too much. Sadly, the truth is I just really wanted to live my best life and to be loved, accepted, respected, and maybe even admired. I wanted to make impact, and I wanted to leave a legacy. And so today, if you too are ready to lose the weight but are tired of dieting and gimmicks and weight loss scams, if you're ready to understand why you aren't losing the weight no matter what you do, then this webinar, How I Lost 45 Pounds by Getting the Emotional Edge, is for you. During the hour, it's going to be an hour, you will learn, and you're going to want to take notes, the 3 stages to change, the 3 stages to weight loss and where you're at. Psychologists tell us that there are 3 stages to change, and all 3 are as important as the final one when we're ready to change. I'm going to give you a quiz, and you can take that to see where you're at, and we can try to speed things along. We're also going to learn why excess weight has everything to do with emotions. We can't change the physical body, lose or gain weight, without changing the way we think. But to change the way we think, we must learn how to feel and deal with our emotions, because thoughts and feelings are intrinsically linked. I'm also going to tell you, I promise, exactly what I did to lose 45 pounds in less than 5 months. I'm going to give you the real how-tos and the tangibles. I'm going to share my journey in the hopes it will help you find your own magic, wonder, and curiosity to reconnect more deeply with your real self. Because then you're going to realize how easy it is to lose weight almost effortlessly when you're in the right energy. So I want you to grab your spot now, and I'll see you soon.